Lizard Point in southern Britain. That's the most southern point in the Britain. The rocks here are ophiolitic rocks, meaning that they are from the oceanic crust, which has been pushed over land. And we know this by looking at this kind of rocks, which are serpentinite, other kind of basaltic, gabbroic rocks, and lots of other plutonic rocks from the bottom of the ocean. And it's very interesting. You have to look at the structures people have made using the local rocks to actually find some of the best examples of these rocks. Everywhere is the same almost. You have to look at what the rocks people have on their own time taken out of the ground and use them in something. And the ground here is all made of serpentinite, green, grey rock. The pathways and everything. And Lizard Point is where one of the few places in Britain that oceanic crust is actually exposed at the surface of the land. Of course, very ancient times when the Britain was part of an island chain and gradually being pushed, and Europe was being pushed over it gradually, plowing into the ocean. This last bit of the oceanic crust eventually was pushed over the land that was Britain and exposed at the surface. We have the batholite of a continental crust in the Cornwall itself, which is the granites. And it's interesting, this rock is near the continental crust. Look at the contact of these two rock formations. The top one, I think, is serpentinite, which is greenish gray, dark, and the lower part is a different material, which at this distance I cannot say what it is, but both of them look interesting. There is a book about it. I will just make a review probably about that. Beautiful oceanic crust. For a geologist, this is like paradise. The best example of this you can see, of course, in Middle East, in Iran, there are probably tens of the ophiolites. One of the good examples for the students in Britain to access, because Cyprus is a place that we have a relation with. We can go, historical relation. We can go to Cyprus. This is one of the best examples and best explored examples of the ophiolite in Cyprus, through those mountains. This is, of course, the little guide for the Lizard Point. And of course, this area is a National Trust state. This oceanic crust here is at least 200 million years old. Well, how we know that? The cycle of the consumption or exsumption of the oceanic crust is 200 million years. It takes from creation to being taken back into the mantle or end up in the land is 200 million years at the most. So these are at least, or at the most, 200 million years old. That's beautiful. That contact is beautiful. That is beautiful serpentinite. That green, dark green, gray rock. Of course, we have in Iran tens of these kind of ophiolite structures, and that is the reason that we in Iran we have a long history of smelting of the copper smelting, and you can find tens of kilometers of land just covered in the slag of the copper. Very ancient place for extraction and usage of copper. We are now at the Lizard Point at the bay area. Of course, the oceanic crust was where I showed on the other part, on that part. Now we have came down and look at how the rock has changed. I can show you something beautiful here. This is nice. A metamorphic rock that forms at very deep parts of the crust. and that ophiolite was pushed against this crustal material, and actually this is a garnet kind of nice, because I see little bits of the thing poking out. This rock probably has formed some garnet in it. Garnet nice, and you can see the glittery signature of garnet here. Oh, this is one crystal of garnet, of course highly weathered. Another one probably is this one. My finger is there, here. And very nice example of nice. It means high temperature, high pressure, and at the base of the crust, where it comes in contact with the oceanic crust. Of course, you see a lot of quartz here. This quartz veins can be later have been added here. Oh no, they were incorporated probably from the melting of the crust. If there was some kind of granite, or it changes to granite later. So, okay, I take a sample of this gneiss, which is really nice, and these are weathered parts of it. Okay, I take a few samples. This part is really shiny and lovely. Take a few pictures. Yeah, my wife actually noticed that this gneiss, how different it is to other rocks we have seen. Look at this example of it. Of course, this is a metamorphosed layer, but that is actually what she pointed to, and that is where the gneiss is exposed itself. Gneiss is being consumed from older generation of rock, or genesis of rock, and yeah, again metamorphosed again. Jumble of faults here in the little area of the gneiss itself. And of course these are gneissic sands, as you see. Gneiss is very hard here, hard rock, so I cannot find any real good example of it just to take home with me. Beautiful rocks and full of fault lines. Oh, seagulls. Yeah. Show me. Oh, shellfish on this. Right. And what are these? Are these barnacles?
I don't know what they are. They could be.
And limpets. Very common in the British Isles. And this piece of the metamorphic rock. We are at the Lizard Point, and as you see, the birds, seabirds are there. Well, what I want to show you is this part of the Ophiolite sequence that has given the name to the tape rock for ophiolites. Serpentinite. That's the altered periodic rock, that is mantle rock, which is altered to this green color. It's beautiful. Beautiful. Oceanic crust. This is the lowest part of the oceanic crust, which is the mantle part of it. The top part of the mantle and the lower part of the oceanic crust. We found a sequence of this. In that direction we found the gneiss. Over there we find the top of the gabbro, the black rock, and the red rock. Then we came down to the deepest part which is the serpentinite itself. Mantle rock exposed at the surface. These are from the depths of the mantle of the earth. Can you believe this? In Britain, on the land. Of course, in many parts of the world we have this, but seeing it on your own, discovering it on your own, visiting it, and feeling this is a rock from the bottom of the ocean, from the bottom of the earth crust, top of the earth mantle, below the earth crust, interior of the earth, one of the hottest parts of the earth, mantle, inside the earth. That's it. You see the evidence for, flowing and melting and the pressure in the forms of these bands, twisted and compressed, and even twisted to push over the land. You can see here. What I have not seen here, which I think there must be somewhere, are, oh, my wife is there, are pillow lavas. This is the lizard point, and we are now at the lizard's den in the Cornwall, southernmost point of the Britain. Oh, there is something at the depth of the cave or cove. What is there? We don't know. Why they call this area lizard? Are they sacrificing virgins to the Godzilla here? Godzilla can be any moment coming out, but our virgin is stepping out already. She don't want to be sacrificed for the Godzilla. She's just collecting rocks to throw at the lizard when it comes. I think she's going to put 3 stones together. This is a good example of serpentinite. In this cove in the down the lighthouse or whatever it is at the lizard point. You can see bands of quartz. What is here? I don't know. People have put their own rocks. What is at this point? Is the serpent here? Is the lizard here? We don't know. We will never know unless you bring a light.